Now let's continue. After that, the children who did not want to leave glued to the feet of their father to ask Jujaka to wait at least until the arrival of their mother. Now, children, they were really scared and they didn't want it to leave. However, they had no other choice. So they told Jujaka that if possible, please wait for their mother to come so that at least they can meet their mother, right? But the shrewd and mean Jujaka, without wasting time, fastened the hands of the two delicate children. Fasten means tie with a creeper. Creeper is your plants, right? So these climbers, and forcibly dragged them to his destination. But Jujaka was a cruel kind of a man. He was not at all ready to listen anything. What he did, he took a creeper, right, and he tied the hands of these two delicate children with it, and he started dragging them. The bleeding and bewailing children, bleeding, of course, maybe it was too tight for them, so their hands were bleeding. Bewailing these children, they were literally crying. However, scream. Now here they've written it in a form of a little poem. Let's read it. Oh, the mother will certainly cry, like the chataka upon return, whose little ones are killed. These three lines here, these children, they are telling their father that we believe that our mother will cry, like that little bird chataka who cries when her little ones are killed. How would she act when she comes back with many roots and fruits gathered from the forest? So children, they are saying we don't know how she'll react when she'll come back with the fruits and shoots and roots, and she'll see that we are not here, but finds the hermitage empty. She'll be worried when she'll find the hut is empty. Oh, father, I have many toys, horses, elephants, and chariots. Give half to mother to assuage her grief. So these children, they say, Father, we have so many toys, and we really want you to give our toys to mother so that it could actually lessen her grief. When Madi returned late in the evening and did not find her children around, she asked Vasantara of their whereabouts. Whereabout means where they are, right? About their information. So when on the same day in the evening when this Madi she returned, she was actually worried. She was very worried to see that her children were missing. She even questioned Vasantara about their whereabouts, like where are my children? But Vasantara kept silent. Now Vasantara, he kept silence, or he kept silent, like he was actually quiet. He had no way to express his grief for the children. She then repeated the same question several times. Yet Vasantara did not utter a single word. So she again went inside the forest and looked for children for the whole night. This poor mother, she questioned Vasantara several times, but he didn't answer. He kept his mouth shut, and this poor lady, she ran back into the forest and she kept looking for her children throughout the night. The next morning, when she returned, she fainted. Vasantara then helped her regain consciousness. That was the time he appraised her of the whereabouts of the children and narrated the story. Now when she came back from the forest, she came and she fainted. She must be, tired. She was sick of looking for her own children. She was tired. She must have lost the hope. And when she came back, she fainted. Vasantara, what he actually did, he helped her regain her consciousness. And when she was awake, then Vasantara told her the whole story. By then, Madi had mustered up the courage. Mustered means gathered. So by that time, she gathered the courage to endure the trauma, to actually bear the trauma, the pain and the suffering. Surprisingly, she praised Vasantara's great act of Dhanasila, conduct of charity. And it was a surprise that when she gained her consciousness, she heard the story, she praised her husband. This sacrifice trembled the earth, and this sacrifice of a mother actually trembled the earth. And so did Mount Sinor, with all its resplendent gems. And of course, there was this mount filled with beautiful gems. Everything trembled. Surprised, Saka, the lord of the Devas, inquired into the cause. Now, Sakas, they were quite worried. What happened? How come the earth trembled? And the lords or Devas, they were worried about the sacrifice. When he learned the cause of the quakes owing to the sacrifice of Vessantara, he visited the hermitage next morning to testify the firmity of his vow in guise of a mendicant and begged him for his wife. Now gods, the lords, they were they really wanted to see the firmity of his sacrifice. They just wanted to test whether Vasantara was still, on the same page, whether Vasantara was still ready to sacrifice anything. So what this Lord of Devas did, Saka, what he did, he changed himself into a beggar and he went to his hermitage the next morning and he begged for his wife. Okay, let's see then what happens. Even then, Vasantara did not lose the firmness of his mind and nodded to donate Madi as well. So Vasantara, he actually nodded his head and he gave away his wife as well. Besides, no anger sprang even in the heart of Madi, and there was no anger or hatred or pain in the heart of Madi. She accepted the sacrifice. She did not wail, she didn't even cry. She rather looked stupefied and stood like a statue with her eyes fixed on her husband with a fresh load of suffering. She was actually prepared. She was ready to face anything that comes her way. In fact, she was looking at her husband with firm eyes and she really wanted her husband to know that she is ready for all the sufferings. Admiringly, Saka then said, now Sakas were the gods. So finally what they did, they agreed and they spoke here. They were surprised to see the way he was ready to sacrifice his own wife as well. Though a householder, yet giving up the most beloved children and wife in charity. With such detachment, can there be a greater exemplification of magnanimity? So here, the Sakas, they were actually surprised and they say that you are the one who is the householder. You've given up your children and your wife and there's no form of detachment in your heart. This is one of the biggest example of charity, right? Now, it was the time for Saka to reveal his identity. So Saka, he revealed his identity. He gave Madi back to Vasantara. One thing is clear, furthermore, he offered 8 boons to the great donor. Boons, you understand, gifts or wishes, which included the reunion of his family, his recall to his father's kingdom, his ability to benefaction. Ability means the charity work. I'm sorry. In the meanwhile, Jujaka, now he got 8 boons. This is one side. Now on the other side, what is happening here? Jujaka, somehow he took the children and he was actually pulling them, making them cry. So he finally reached to the place where Jetudala. He reached to their own kingdom. Their soldiers, they must have seen that he is behaving in such a bad manner with the children. They took him directly to the king with the children. King recognized his grandchildren and he offered to do anything for Jujaka. Jujaka, in return, what he asked for? He asked for handsome gifts and 7-story palace. Now everything was given to him, Jujaka. He was so happy with so many gifts. He started eating. He ate so much that he died. Finally, The king Sanjay and the queen and and the grandchildren with the army, they went back to for where Vankagiri, and there was this family reunion. They all came together, all the differences were removed, and after a month of merrymaking, means they stayed there for a month, they enjoyed the forest, they all came back to the kingdom. So this is the whole story. Finally, everything was resolved and Vasantara was happy. Right, we'll continue with the rest in the next video. Thank you.